Okay, so picture this. You're cruising along on a road trip, jamming to your favorite tunes.
And then, bam! A warning light pops up on your dashboard.
Talk about a mood killer.
Oh, right.
Suddenly you're like, wait, what does that one mean?
It's like your car is trying to tell you something.
In some kind of secret code.
Exactly. And we're here to crack the code. Those warning lights, they're not just random blinky things.
Right.
They're actually giving us vital clues about what's happening with our cars.
It's like our cars are trying to communicate with us.
Yeah. And if we learn to listen, we can actually prevent some serious headaches down the road.
So for this deep dive, we're going to decode those dashboard messages. We'll cover the most common warning lights, and most importantly, what to do when they show up.
Think of it as your cheat sheet to keeping your car happy and avoiding any roadside surprises.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all these lights?
Well, let's start with the main categories.
Okay.
You've got your engine-related warning lights, then there's safety-related,
Ah.
then you have electrical or battery issues,
Okay.
and finally, those related to your tire pressure or fluid levels.
So basically, our cars have a whole vocabulary of lights to tell us what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so let's tackle the one that seems to send chills down every driver's spine.
You talking about the engine warning light?
The one and only. What's the deal with that one?
Ah, yes, the universal symbol for a mini panic attack. But honestly, it makes sense why this light freaks people out. It could be a range of issues, right?
Yeah, I bet.
From something as simple as a loose gas cap to something more serious like a faulty oxygen sensor.
The oxygen sensor? That rings a bell. Isn't that important for something?
Oh, absolutely. It plays a key role in making sure your engine is running efficiently and cleanly.
So you're saying if I ignore this light, I might be polluting more.
It's definitely a possibility. And if you keep ignoring it for too long, you could even damage your catalytic converter.
And that's an expensive fix, right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
Ouch. Okay, so what's the first move when that engine light throws a party on my dashboard?
Well, first of all, don't panic.
Okay, easier said than done, but got it.
The best thing to do is get yourself an OBD2 scanner.
Wait, hold up. An OBD what now?
It's basically this little device that plugs into your car's computer
Okay.
and reads out specific trouble codes.
So it's like a translator for my car.
You got it.
Hmm.
And the cool thing is, these scanners used to be pricey,
Right.
but you can find them online or at auto parts stores for a reasonable price now.
So we can actually do some detective work ourselves before running to the mechanic.
Exactly. An OBD2 scanner can tell you if it's something simple, like a loose gas cap.
Oh. So I can just tighten that myself?
Yep. Or it can tell you if it's something more complex that requires a professional.
Wow, I never knew that. This is already feeling empowering. Okay, let's move on to another warning light that always makes my heart skip a beat. The oil pressure warning light.
Ah, yes. This one means your engine isn't getting enough oil.
And that's bad, right? Like really bad.
You bet. We're talking potential engine seizure.
Engine seizure. That sounds terrifying.
It is. It basically means your engine is toast.
Okay, so this is definitely not the light to ignore. So let's say I'm on my road trip and this light suddenly pops up. What should I do?
Safety first. Pull over to the side of the road as soon as it's safe to do so.
Got it.
Then pop the hood and check your oil levels.
Okay.
It's a good idea to carry extra oil with you, just in case.
Wow, that's a smart tip.
If the oil is low, top it off and see if that turns the light off.
So if I add oil and the light goes away, I'm good to go.
Well, not so fast. Even if adding oil temporarily fixes the issue, you still need to get your car to a mechanic ASAP.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because there's likely an underlying reason for that oil loss.
Like what?
It could be a leak
Okay.
or a faulty oil pump.
So it's like putting a bandage on a bigger problem.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, speaking of road trip nightmares, let's talk about the battery warning light.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has a story about a dead battery.
Oh, for sure. We've all been there.
So what's the deal with the battery light? Does it always mean my battery is dead?
Not necessarily. It usually means your battery isn't being charged properly.
And what does that mean?
Well, it could mean your alternator is going bad.
The alternator. Now, remind me again what that does.
Think of it as the power plant of your car.
Okay.
It generates electricity to keep your battery charged and all those electrical components running.
Oh, right. So if the alternator is failing, does that mean I'm going to end up with a dead battery and a car that won't start?
It's a strong possibility.
Oh, great. So another thing to worry about.
And it's not just about getting stranded, you know?
Where else?
A failing alternator can also mess with all those electronic systems in your car.
What do you mean?
Like your lights, your radio, even your power window.
Wait, so my power window could stop working because of a bad alternator?
You bet. It all comes down to that flow of electricity. If the alternator isn't doing its job, it can create a domino effect on all those systems that rely on its power.
Okay, I'm definitely adding check the alternator to my road trip checklist.
Mm.
Now let's talk about a warning light that's all about safety. The brake system warning light,
Yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory.
right? Brakes are kind of important.
But it's worth noting that this light could indicate a few different things.
Like what?
You could have low brake fluid,
Huh.
worn brake pads, or even a problem with the brake lines themselves.
And I'm guessing this is one we don't want to gamble with.
You're absolutely right. Your brakes are your lifeline on the road, and any issues with the braking system need to be addressed immediately.
So no putting off that mechanic appointment if this light pops up.
Nope, no way.
Okay, now I'm curious about the coolant temperature warning light. What exactly is coolant, and why should we care if it's getting too hot?
Coolant, or antifreeze, is a liquid that circulates through your engine,
Okay.
and it's vital for regulating its temperature and
Right.
preventing overheating.
So it keeps everything running cool.
Exactly. Now, if you see this light come on, it means your engine is getting too hot.
Why would that happen?
Could be a coolant leak,
Oh, okay.
a faulty thermostat,
Uh-huh.
or even a clogged radiator.
So this light is basically saying, hey, things get a little toasty in here. Time to cool down.
Pretty much. And just like with that oil pressure light, if this one comes on, you need to pull over ASP and let the engine cool down completely.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, you risk serious engine damage. We're talking warped engine components,
ouch.
blown head gaskets,
Double ouch.
and a hefty repair bill.
Okay, I'm getting the picture loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we prevent this from happening in the first place?
Regular maintenance is key.
Like what?
Make sure you're getting your coolant flushed and replaced
okay.
according to your car's recommended maintenance schedule.
Got it. So regular checkups can help us avoid a meltdown on the road.
Exactly. Prevention is always better than cure, especially when it comes to your car.
All right, so we've covered a lot of warning lights in this first part,
Yeah,
and I'm already feeling more informed. But we've still got a whole dashboard to decode,
we do.
so stick with us.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more of those mysterious symbols in part 2.
All right, so ready to dive back into those dashboard mysteries?
You bet. We've got a whole bunch of warning lights left to decode.
Well, let's jump right in. Then, what about this one? Have you ever seen the traction control light come on?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that one when it's snowy or icy.
That's exactly when it's designed to kick in.
Oh really?
It helps prevent your wheels from spinning out of control.
So it's like a safety net for slippery roads.
You got it. Now, if that light stays on, though,
Uh-oh.
it could mean the traction control system itself is having a little problem.
What kind of problem?
Could be a sensor malfunction or an issue with the system's control module.
So it's probably not a DIY fix.
Probably not. You'll want to get a mechanic to check it out.
Got it. Okay, now here's one that's always confused me a bit.
Mhm.
The cruise control light.
Ah, yes. Cruise control. The trusty companion for long drives.
So is this light a warning? Or just an indicator?
Just an indicator. It simply lets you know the system is active.
So it's maintaining a constant speed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without you having to keep your foot on the gas pedal.
So no need to panic if this one pops up.
Nope. It's just doing its thing. And you can always turn it off if you need to.
Okay, good to know. Now what about the power steering warning light? That one sounds a little scary.
It can be. This light indicates there might be a problem with your power steering system.
And what does that mean for me as a driver?
Well, it could make steering really difficult, especially at low speeds.
Oh man, I can imagine. Trying to parallel park without power steering would be a nightmare.
Yeah, not fun. So if this light comes on,
Mm-hmm.
get it checked out as soon as possible.
What could be causing it?
Could be a leak in your power steering fluid,
Okay.
a faulty power steering pump, or a problem with the electronic control unit.
So another one for the mechanics to-do list.
Yep, definitely don't ignore this one.
All right, now on to a warning light that seems pretty high-tech. The lane departure warning light.
Ah, yes, lane departure warning. This is one of those safety features that's becoming more and more common.
What does it do exactly?
Well, it uses cameras or sensors to monitor the road markings,
Mm-hmm.
and it can detect if you start to drift out of your lane without signaling.
So it's like having an extra set of eyes watching out for you.
Exactly. It can be especially helpful on long drives when you might get a little drowsy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
but I've heard some people find it kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah. Some drivers find the alerts a little intrusive.
Right.
But the good news is, most systems let you adjust the sensitivity or even turn the feature off completely.
Oh, that's good to know. So you can choose how much help you want.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about a warning light that's a little less high-tech, but equally important. The low fuel light.
This one's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, means it's time to fill up the tank. But I have to admit, I've definitely been guilty of ignoring it a few times.
Haha. We've all been there, hoping to stretch that last gallon a little further.
But is that a bad idea?
It can be,
Well, really, why?
pushing it too far can actually damage your fuel pump.
The fuel pump, what does that do?
It draws fuel from the tank to the engine.
So if I run out of gas, I could end up with a repair bill on top of needing a tow truck.
It's definitely a risk.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah,
Better safe than... Sorry, I'll make sure to fill up when that light comes on.
good plan. Now, one last warning light I wanted to ask about. The service engine soon light. Is this the same as the check engine light?
I've always wondered that too.
Not exactly. The service engine soon light is usually triggered by your car's internal computer
Okay.
based on mileage or time.
So it's more of a reminder than an emergency.
Exactly. It's basically your car saying, hey, it's been a while, maybe it's time for an oil change or a general checkup.
So it's like a friendly nudge from my car's mechanic.
You got it.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So regular maintenance can help prevent those more serious warning lights from coming on in the first place. Okay, we've covered a lot of warning lights in this part,
Yeah, we have.
and I'm feeling a lot more confident about understanding what my car's trying to tell me. But we're not done yet, right?
Not quite. We have a few more things to cover.
All right, well, stay tuned for the final part of our dashboard decoding adventure. Okay, so we're back for the final round of our dashboard decoding challenge.
We've explored a whole bunch of those mysterious warning lights.
And hopefully our listeners are feeling a little less intimidated by them now.
That's the goal. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our cars.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways our listeners should remember?
Well, the most important thing is to never ignore a warning light.
Right. Even if it seems like a minor issue.
Exactly. Always better to be safe than sorry.
So it's like our cars are trying to tell us something,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to pay attention.
You got it. And remember, some warning lights are more urgent than others.
Like those ones we talked about earlier.
If you see the oil pressure light, the brake system warning light, or that coolant temperature light flashing,
Yeah.
you need to pull over as soon as possible.
Okay, so those are the red flags.
Exactly. They could mean a breakdown is imminent or even an accident,
Got it. But what about those less urgent warning lights?
like the traction control light or the service engine soon light.
Yeah, those ones.
It's still important to address them promptly,
So don't just ignore them and hope they go away.
Exactly. Even small issues can turn into bigger problems if you let them linger.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's be honest. There are a lot of warning lights to keep track of.
There are.
It can feel overwhelming.
I get it. It's a lot to remember. But here's a simple tip.
Okay, what's the tip?
Keep your car's owner's manual handy.
Oh, the owner's manual. That thing usually just sits in my glove compartment.
But it's actually a super valuable resource.
How so?
It's like the ultimate decoder ring for your dashboard.
So it explains what all those lights mean.
Exactly. It'll tell you what each warning light means and what you should do when it comes on.
So maybe I should actually read that thing.
I highly recommend it. And of course, if you're ever unsure about a warning light, don't hesitate to talk to a trusted mechanic.
Okay, so a mechanic can help me figure it out.
Yep. They can run a diagnostic test,
Ah,
pinpoint the issue, and recommend the best way to fix it.
makes sense. So regular checkups and timely repairs can help keep our cars running smoothly and safely.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, paying attention to our dashboards and understanding those warning lights
That's crucial.
for both our cars and our safety.
Well said. Think of it this way. Your car is constantly talking to you.
Through all those little lights.
Yeah. And by learning to listen to its language, you become a more informed and proactive driver.
And that's what this deep dive has been all about. Empowering our listeners with the knowledge to take care of their cars and stay safe on the road.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So drive safely, everyone. And stay curious.